Hi guys, I'm Cash with CashedOutCars, and today I'm here with Gus, and he's going to go over 944 ownership costs. So on my channel, you probably saw my Miata ownership costs and how much I've spent on my car, and now we're going to let him go over how much he spent on his.
A lot more, spoiler alert. Actually not, because a lot of the stuff that was done to this car was done before I picked it up, and as we all know, you can't sell a car for the cost of the mods on it. So that worked out really well for me. But we'll start with some of the big stuff we've done. We got the car, drove it for I think around 2,500 miles, and then we had to do the timing belt job. And that's no fun. Timing belt, water pump, lots of seals. We got that done for $465. Did all the work ourselves. It was, I would guess, around 12 hours of labor between my dad and I, 12 hours each. But we got it done, no problem. It's about time for retensioning already, so that's upcoming soon, and it should be good to go after that.
One thing to note when he's talking about this, like he said, he did all the work on this car with my dad, and it's important to note that if you were paying someone to work on something like this, something like a 944, versus something like a Miata, you're going to pay someone a lot more to work on this. So plan on doing work yourself if you want to save money. If not, it'll be a lot more.
Yeah, if you're buying one of these to have them go to the shop, it's not going to end well. You'll be paying a ton of money. Another thing we did actually before the timing belt was Koni Shocks front and rear. And I forget exactly how the years work out, but my car still has earlier suspension, I believe, where you can just drop new shocks in. You don't have to cut anything. And the shocks worked out to be $400 front and rear. So that was definitely a needed improvement. The shocks that were in there were very shot. You could feel it even just pushing the car down. Now we handle nice. Haven't even tuned them. We just put them in the middle position and let them go.
And it rides pretty sweet now. He let me drive this up at Lime Rock at an autocross event, and it felt really, really good. It's definitely a lot different than the Miata, but it felt really good with those shocks in there.
We got tires on them. Kuma X, I believe these are XT. No clue.
Cheapos.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. We took them to Lime Rock once. They're chunked out now. I mean, they got plenty of tread left, so we'll keep burning them, but definitely not impressed by the grip, the durability. Not much about them.
Nah.
But they were $240 for the set, so they're getting the job done. Like we said, the water pump was included in the timing belt cost. That came as a whole kit from 944 online. The e-brake was broken, and my dad got new springs for that. You can find those between like 25 and $40, and that solved the e-brake issue. Now it stops us, as you can see, because we're on a hill here and it's not rolling away. So that's very nice. For brakes, we got new rotors, we got new pads, and a rebuild kit for the calipers, and that all as a package was $355. And again, that was all labor we did, a lot of like cleaning and supersonic cleaner and stuff like that you would definitely not be able to do nearly as cheap if you got it somewhere else. Fuel filler neck. Fun problem with this car. When I got it, if you did donuts to the left, you would dump fuel out, and straight out of the fuel filler, you would dump fuel out. We figured that out while taking Christmas pictures, and noticed that the side of my car was soaked. So definitely figured that would be something we should solve before we autocrossed it. Found a $20 OEM fuel filler neck on eBay that has a float in it that closes. We're assuming that's what was broken on mine. So $20, that was fixed. About $75 later, we got new brake lines for the car. We didn't actually install all of them because some of them are a big pain to install. But the majority of them are replaced with braided lines from 944 online. The clutch master cylinder, we did that. That was a $60 part. No problems with that at all. Windshield washer fluid pump, that was a $16 part, and while that part is working great, there are so many leaks in the system that I still can't get windshield wiper fluid to the windshield. So that was money, I would say, not quite as well spent. Motor mounts were $83. Those were aftermarket ones. You can get what I think are considered OEM ones for closer to 200. We decided to just go with these and see how they're doing. They haven't had many miles on them, so of course they're fine for now. But I'm sure we can do an update when they break in like 100 miles. Camshaft gasket, that was another thing we just did while we were in there doing the timing belt and the water pump. That was a $50 kit for some gaskets and hardware. So I think that brings us to a total of $1,789 of like maintenance costs. Then
What'd you pay for the car?
The car was, see, I paid more for the car than all of that maintenance by far. The car was $1,800 when I picked it up. So we haven't even doubled the cost of it. For mods, some things that we did that were definitely non-essential, but fun to get done. The steering wheel, we replaced, there was a really cheap, like, fake Momo steering wheel in there that was super small, and this car has no power steering, so that was not a fun combo.
And the wheel was ugly.
The wheel was super ugly. So we replaced that with a Momo Mod 78. That was $200. It's holding up good. It's a little faded because I leave it in the sun constantly, but I'm pretty sure you can get kits to like re-dye them, no problem. I'm not gonna bother. The sub and amp, my friend sold me for 50 bucks. It's really cheap. I don't know anything about it, but it sounds okay. It's fun. Adds a lot of weight, so I took the spare tire out for to keep the balance of the car. The manifolds, we got cast manifolds because the headers were cracked, and those were $85 for used OEM replacements on eBay. The resonator we replaced with a MagnaFlow. I think it was a big one. I think 12 or 15 inches, and that was 80 bucks new. Sounds great now. Everybody loves how it sounds. I love how it sounds. Then we got 2 sets of 951 tires that we just picked up, I think both on Craigslist.
Wheels and tires.
So this set, this set was wheels and tires, and these were 150 bucks. Definitely could use a refinish, but they're fine. These are an inch bigger in diameter, and the rears are an inch wider, while the fronts, I believe, are the same offset and the same width, but they could be offset differently. So yeah, these were 150 bucks. And then I have another set in the garage, also 951 wheels, and those don't have any tires on them. Those were 125 or 100 bucks. So the plan for these are to refinish them and either mount some tires on them and put them on, or just refinish them and sell them and make some money back so we can blow more money on other stuff. Fuel costs. This is a fun one. The first time I calculated fuel in this, I got close to like 600 miles on a tank, and it has a 22-gallon tank. I did some calculations. Turned out to be around 28 mpg, which I was super happy with. Then I started going through this tank, and we're about 2 empty. And let's check the mileage. 327 miles right now. So that's close to 15 miles per gallon. So I think trying to put an estimate on fuel cost is really useless at this point. Hopefully I can do some more calculations and they'll, converge to a value that's meaningful, but right now we have no clue.
You could drive it like a grandma, or you could have fun with it. So.
Yep. Definitely those 2 options. Taxes have come out to 51 bucks in total. It's a high value car, so we like to keep her safe.
Over 3 years, $51.
Yep. And insurance, 370 bucks a year, so that's around $1,100. Again, keeping her safe. So
oh yeah.
Definitely pretty much as cheap as it gets on those 2 ends. Insurance maybe not as good as the Miata.
No, the insurance is actually pretty much the same between the Miata and this car, because we have them both insured as, basically if we crash the car on our own, nothing's covered. We're only covered if we crash into someone else. So basically it's the lowest level insurance we could have on the cars.
Yep.
Because they're not worth that much, to be honest.
So if we go over everything one more time, purchased the car for 1,800 bucks 3 years ago or so. With maintenance costs that are about another $1,800, we're up to around $3,600. With the mods that I paid for and did After the previous owners, we're at around $4,300, and then with insurance for the last 3 years, we're around $5,500. So the cheap $1,800 car is no longer quite as cheap or quite as $1,800, but it's definitely a fun car that's not absolutely breaking the bank. And a lot of the stuff we've done, we didn't need to. We did it because we're car enthusiasts and we like to be illogical. I would say overall I'm really happy with the amount of money this has cost. Definitely there are ways to get cars that have a lot cheaper maintenance costs, but I think for something that's as unique and fun to drive, you couldn't really find much else that's cheaper that could get the job done like this does.
Yep, so like he said, he definitely spent more on maintenance costs than like my Miata, but I put a lot more in mods into the Miata to try to make it unique, because there are a million Miatas out there. There are only a handful of 944s. It's kind of rare when you see one, and it's always cool to see one. So definitely a more unique car than a Miata. Definitely has different costs than the Miata, so keep that in mind if you're looking at a 944. So with all that said, let me know what you want to see Gus do with his 944, if you want to see any LS swaps or anything like that.
Keep an eye out.
Might be in the future, but it's something we have been toying around with. But yeah, just like this video if you liked it, subscribe for more, and leave down below how much you've spent on your Porsche 944.